In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 ways that I personally use to motivate myself on a daily basis. What's up, friends? Rob Sevilla here, six-figure entrepreneur and host of the Spitting Fire Leadership Podcast. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 easy ways that you can use to motivate yourself on a daily basis. Now, why is this important? Because in over 20 plus years of ministry and also working in the sales field in some form or capacity, and also motivating, encouraging, and mentoring folks, this is one of the biggest areas that people are really challenged in. And even at different seasons in my life, I have been challenged in it, right? Because we're emotional beings, because we live in this negative world, because we live in this fast-paced, busy world where it just seems like everything is coming at us, and it's easy for us to get drained emotionally. It's easy for that fresh wind, if you will, to be sucked out of our sails. So let's dive right in. But before I do, quick disclaimer. Everything that I'm going to talk to you about today, as a matter of fact, everything in my life, business and personal, I filter through a faith-based lens, meaning that I'm a Christian. I believe in the God of the Bible. So even if you're not a Christian today, don't tune me out, because I do believe there's some nuggets here for you that will allow you to go to the next level, that will allow you to break through. So number 1 is the Bible. I can't think of any better content to read on a daily basis and to dive into than the content of your and my divine creator. In other words, who knows us better than our own creator? No one. And he knows what's best for us better than you and I do. And listen, for me, it's this. It's knowing who I am, but more importantly, whose I am. Let me put it to you another way. I wake up every day knowing that I'm fully loved and fully accepted by this really big God, and that all of heaven is cheering me on. So think about it. Waking up every day knowing this really big God is for you, and knowing that, then it doesn't matter what comes your way, you can continue to go on and move forward and break through. Number 2 is a devotional. One of my favorites is by Paul David Tripp, called New Morning Mercies. So not only am I consuming God's content, but I'm also looking for devotionals, primarily leadership devotionals, but also just devotionals in general that are in alignment with God's word, and that just give me a little bit different perspective on things that help fuel my faith, because everything that I do is filtered through the lens of my faith. And if you have a short attention span like I do, you can see here that the pages don't have much writing on it. And so if you just want something that's concise, something that's potent and powerful, and that will put that fresh wind in your sails, I definitely recommend daily devotionals like Paul David Tripp. So not only, number 1, do I read the Bible every morning, and during my Bible time, I'm praying to God, but I also have some worship music on from time to time. And these are just ways to get myself in alignment with the assignment that God has for me on a daily basis. But number 2, I'm also consuming devotionals like this that just give me that extra shot, if you will, that extra motivation, encouragement that I need. The other thing I will tell you is this, is that another devotional that I love is called John Maxwell's Daily Reader. This is one, once again, if you got a short attention span like I do, you can see there's not very much content. I know the light's in the way there. I'll try to see if I can bring it up there. There we go. Okay. And you can see there's not very much content there, but I love John's Maxwell's book because he combines faith-based content with leadership. So if you want to be a great leader, if you want to be a leader who makes a difference in the lives of other people, then this is definitely a book that I would recommend. Another one that I read on a daily basis, and listen, I don't read all of them every single day. I may flip from one to another or switch from one to another, but you get the idea, is called Leadership Promises Every Day. Okay, this is a daily devotional, and you can see, once again, I have a very short attention span, so I need something short and sweet. I don't want to read something that takes forever to read. I need something that's just very potent and very powerful and that will inspire me to keep going on every single day. Number 3 is podcast. I'm a podcast junkie. I'm always looking for new podcasts. I'm always looking for podcasts that are faith-based primarily, but also just leadership and business podcast or YouTube channels in general. Some of my top ones are like Ed Milet. He's one of my favorites. Eric Thomas, Myron Golden, Lewis Howes, Tim Ross, John Maxwell, Erwin McManus, and I can go on and on and on, but I'm always looking for podcasts that are in alignment with where I'm going, but also that have far surpassed my level and where I want to be, not only in my business life, but also in my personal life. So there's really no excuse, because you can either watch like I do every morning or also listen. And so while I'm working out, I watch podcast or I'm listening to podcast. Once again, I'm just layering these things on top of one another to motivate myself, to get my mind right, because there's so many things that are trying to attack my mindset. And if I'm not encouraged, I won't execute. Let me put it to you this way. This is the way that I like to say it. When you learn how to encourage yourself on a daily basis, you will execute at a high level, because I believe our execution level is directly tied to how encouraged we are. And you can't just depend on other people to do that for you. You have to learn to cultivate that daily discipline yourself of getting into content that is in alignment with the assignment that God has given you, so you can keep living on purpose every single day. So number 1, once again, is the Bible. Number 2 is devotionals. Number 3 is podcast or YouTube channels that are in alignment with what you're wanting to do in your life and what God has called you. Number 4 is to write down goals. I didn't do this for many years, and I don't do this every day, if I'm to be honest, but I do this frequently, where I write down my goals, especially when I'm having really hard days, because I want to remember why I'm doing this. I want to remember the things that I know God has put in my spirit to accomplish. And so when's the last time you have written down your goals? I mean, literally written down your goals in some type of a book or journal, and reminded yourself of why you're doing this, reminded of yourself of those dreams, that vision that God has put in your heart. Listen, you will stay encouraged the more frequently you revisit your goals. Number 5, and the final one, is journaling. Once again, I didn't do journaling for a long time. I actually thought, to be honest with you, that was for sissies, if I'm to be really honest with you. And I didn't do that. But about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, I started journaling my thoughts. I started writing down things that I felt that God was giving to me in the mornings, and ideas and vision and goals. And what had happened is I would go back as I was going through my journal and my notes. I would go back and I would see something that I had written down, and it was like the right timing, that I needed that nugget in that particular season. So I want to encourage all of you to journal. I want to encourage all of you to write down those things. Now, I do it on paper. You may want to do it on your phone, your iPad, or whatever other device you may have. But for me, it's easiest just for me to write it down, especially in my quiet time in the morning when I'm studying my Bible, or I'm reading a devotion, or I'm watching or listening to a podcast. I get ideas constantly, and I want to journal. I want to write those things down, because you never know when that may be the one thing you need to hear in a particular season that will fuel you to that next level, to that breakthrough. See, I like to say it this way: the content that we consume the most, because whether we realize it or not, we're consuming someone's content. For some of us, it may be purely entertainment, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever, or movies or whatever else. And those aren't bad. But if that's the content that we're consuming the most, that's ultimately who or what will become the most like. So if you don't like where you're at in this particular season, I want to challenge you to go back and to take a serious, sobering audit of the content that you're listening to, that you're reading, and that you're watching, because once again, that's who you will ultimately become the most like. And I believe motivation is important. I know it's cliche. I know it's all over the internet. I know many people talk about it, but I believe it's like that old adage that we need motivation daily, like we need a bath, right? Because once again, it's so easy to get discouraged. It's so easy to get demotivated if you are unmotivated because of so many things that happen, because of failures, maybe because of people's opinion or hate or comments or feedback towards us. But I promise you, if you will learn and start implementing these 5 ways, and there's many more ways, and I would love to hear them in the comments section below. Share with me some ways that you are motivating yourself on a daily basis, because this is important to your overall success. I want to encourage you to please like, comment, subscribe below, turn on the notifications so that way you are notified every time we drop fresh content like this. Listen, God bless you guys. Make it an awesome day and keep living on purpose.